Sajak has fans reminiscing over the Wheel of Fortune star's throwback appearance on a children's TV show hours before he hosts his final episode. The TV personality will host his final episode of Wheel of Fortune of his 40-year career on Friday. Pat announced in June 2023 that he was retiring at the end of season 41, and it was later revealed that Ryan Seacrest, 49, is taking his place. Fans memorialized the 77-year-old's last day on the job by recalling a silly cameo he made in the Nickelodeon animated show Rugrats in 1994. One X, formerly Twitter user, shared a clip from the episode where Pat played himself in the cartoon. In the scene, Pat, looking completely different than his appearance in real life, showed up at the door of Chaz Finster, voiced by Michael Bell, to surprise him with a $10 million check. He held the massive cardboard check and yelled the exciting news into Chaz's face. Chaz looked completely shocked about the big win and was speechless as he stared at Pat in the doorway. However, fans didn't find the cameo as amusing as they once did, with many criticizing the TV host's performance. You may remember Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune. I remember Pat Sajak from the nightmare fuel he gave me in only 20 seconds in this Rugrats episode, the original poster wrote. He is my sleep paralysis demon, joked another. Not nightmare fuel for me, but this scene is imprinted on my brain lol, said a third, while others called Pat's appearance freaky and weird. Meanwhile, other social media users blamed the animators for making Pat look completely different, therefore ruining his character. I wonder if he actually saw this episode when it aired and thought why I look like that, a fan wondered. Drawing him that way was a real choice, even by early 90s Nickelodeon standards, a second commented. Why did they make him look like that, a third added. Pat's last episode of WF was filmed in April, but viewers have been mourning his soon departure all week. He recently reflected on his long career on the show with his daughter, Maggie, 29, and what drove him to retire. I've always said, I'd rather leave a couple years too early than a couple years too late, the ABC star during an interview on Good Morning America. Could I still do it? Yeah, I think I could for a while, but there's also some other things in life that we'd like to do. I'm enjoying this last year. It's been a great 40 years and I'm looking forward to whatever is ahead, he concluded. Pat's partner, Vanna White, 67, who worked alongside him since 1982, will continue her reign on the program with the new host, Ryan. As Pat Sajak approaches his final episode as the beloved host of Wheel of Fortune, fans are reflecting on some of his most memorable moments. For decades, he's been the friendly face of the iconic game show, guiding contestants and audiences through a seemingly endless parade of puzzles. But as his time on Wheel winds down, one particular moment from his career has resurfaced, one that many have described as nightmare fuel. It wasn't from Wheel of Fortune itself, but from a much earlier, somewhat forgotten cameo on a children's TV show. Pat Sajak, the clean-cut, ever-charming host, once appeared in a role that fans now look back on with a mix of amusement and horror. For years, his brief stint on this show has remained an odd footnote in his career, but as people reflect on his legacy, the memory has returned, vividly etched in the minds of those who watched it. The year was 1993, and children across America were tuning in to watch the wacky world of Tex the Talking Truck, a lesser-known puppet-based TV series. Sajak's appearance, though brief, left a lasting impression on the young audience. In the episode titled The Dream Mechanic, Tex and his pals find themselves inside a fantastical dream world, trying to fix a malfunctioning dream machine that's wreaking havoc on their town. In the midst of this whimsical chaos, a peculiar character emerges from the fog, a mechanic, played by none other than Pat Sajak. Clad in a greasy jumpsuit and sporting oversized goggles, Sajak's character was a far cry from the polished game show host viewers were used to. His usually clean-cut hair was disheveled, and he spoke in a strange, stilted manner, as though he were a robot pretending to be human. He offered cryptic advice to Tex and his friends, speaking in riddles that, to this day, no one can quite decode. His unsettling performance, paired with the eerie dreamlike setting, was enough to make young viewers feel like they were watching something out of a fever dream. For years, fans have joked about how out of place Sajak seemed in this bizarre role. His character wasn't menacing, exactly, but there was something unnerving about his presence in the episode. It was as though Sajak, who was normally so warm and approachable, had become an uncanny version of himself, still recognizable, but just a little bit off. To the children watching, it was unsettling in a way they couldn't fully articulate at the time, but it lingered in their memories for years. As clips of the episode began circulating on social media in recent weeks, fans of both Wheel of Fortune and the wacky world of Text the Talking Truck have been reminiscing about the Nightmare Fuel cameo. Many have shared stories about how they felt a sense of cognitive dissonance, seeing someone as familiar as Pat Sajak in such a strange and outlandish role. "Seeing Pat Sajak in that episode really messed me up as a kid," one fan tweeted. "I just couldn't reconcile the fact that the guy who hosted Wheel of Fortune was also this weird mechanic in a dream world. It was like seeing your teacher outside of school, it just felt wrong." Another fan recalled how the episode gave them nightmares. "I remember being genuinely freaked out by Pat Sajak in that episode. There was something about the way he moved, like he wasn't fully human. I had nightmares for weeks." But while some fans found the cameo unsettling, others look back on it with a sense of nostalgia and amusement. "It's so funny to think about it now," one commenter wrote on a fan forum. "At the time, it was freaky, but now I just think, wow, what a weird chapter in Pat Sajak's career." You have to admire the guy for being willing to do something so out there. As Sajak prepares to step down from Wheel of Fortune, this peculiar moment from his past feels like an oddly fitting reminder of his versatility. Though he's spent the majority of his career as a game show host, Pat Sajak has always had a playful side, willing to embrace the absurd and the unexpected. His cameo on the wacky world of Text the Talking Truck may not be as polished or memorable as his time on Wheel, but it's a testament to his willingness to step out of his comfort zone. In a recent interview reflecting on his career, Sajak himself was asked about the cameo. With his trademark self-deprecating humor, he admitted that even he found the role a bit strange. "I'm not sure what I was thinking," he said with a laugh. But hey, sometimes you just have to embrace the weirdness. As fans prepare to say goodbye to Sajak on Wheel of Fortune, many are taking the time to revisit not only his most iconic moments but also the more obscure and bizarre chapters of his career.